you know my friends do give me amazing book recommendations. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew, and today we are doing a book review. But before we get into that book review, please do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, check the description box down below for all of my links, and let's jump right on in to this book review. Without any further mucking about, I have to give a huge thank you to my good friend Tori from Tori Talks, because she not only bought me this book, but obviously recommended it to me. And it was when I first saw like the cover, and I was interested in the cover when I saw it on Twitter. And of course the book we're talking about, I should say, is The Blood of Crows by Alex C. Peirce. This book is amazing, y'all. And again, I initially saw this book on Twitter. I saw the cover. I was like, ooh, shiny, pretty. Then Tori read it and she's like, oh my God, everybody, it's so good. And I was like, well, that sounds kind of interesting. So I put it on my wish list. Tori bought it for me. And here we are. And I've read it and I've fallen in love with the book. So we've got a gorgeous cover, which is one thing going in its favor already. But essentially, Blood of Crows it's kind of a story about revolution. It's got some con stuff going there. We've got some thievery. We've got some invention. Maybe a little bit of steampunkiness going on. We've got a slight little romance. We've got some conspiracy, some ancient history. We've got gods. We've got magic. It's awesome. So essentially in this world, you've got magic users and they can kind of use these abilities. And the abilities kind of manifest in men as only having one magical power, whether that being manipulating water or earth or fire, things of that nature. But then the women, especially in the higher society and the noble houses, can manipulate multiple elements. And this can kind of lead to an elongated or like drawn out life. So they outlive their partner. So it's very common for like a woman to refer to a man as her first husband, because obviously she's going to outlive him. So therefore she'll probably remarry again in the future. There's like Inquisitors who have been kind of twisted by this order. It's almost like an Inquisitor order. Almost like a Knights Templar kind of secret society type of order where they like torture people and they kind of like hunt down magic users and stuff like that. And they've got this power base and a lot of money and influence. And these Inquisitors are kind of used to hunt down certain individuals. But the order has different like regiments, which our main character starts out as a part of one of those regiments. Fantastic stuff. We've got a monarchy that has its own royal guard that is separate from the Inquisitors, and then we've got these kind of factions. We've got this school, we've got the order, and we've got the crown, and there's like a treaty that's magically signed between all three. All of that is built into this world. It's a really well fleshed out, I would say, city/world, because it just felt so vibrant, so well realized, and so alive. So let's talk about Ren, the main character in Blood of Crows. He essentially starts out, I believe, as a member of the 39th Regiment of the Order. And this order has a reputation of being a bunch of ne'er-do-wells. They go and do extra jobs, even stealing from the order itself. So basically, he's a trained thief. Him and his partner, Martin, are kind of pulling a job. When we first meet them, the job kind of goes sideways, and we kind of get to see their different approaches. We get to see Ren in action. Fantastic stuff. We then learn that Ren is an indentured kind of, it's like indentured military service. And he's kind of wearing these bangles of service. And Martin has kind of something in the past kind of coming back to haunt him. And he wants to take Ren with him because Ren's kind of like a surrogate son to Martin. So he kind of pulls a con game on their sergeant to basically get Ren demoted, which makes his contract worthless. And then they get free. But then things quickly go sideways when their sergeant wants revenge. And then it all just kind of explodes from there. The story kind of goes kind of sideways when all of a sudden a serial killer element is introduced. All of a sudden, some very powerful, very influential women are starting to be murdered in the streets. And it's not the first time that it's happened. So there's some ancient history stuff going on in the story. Ren, on the run, from his regiment, from the government, because he gets wrongly blamed for these murders. He is trying to solve it. He's trying to clear his name, and he's causing tons of chaos while doing it. It's fantastic. I love it. He kind of meets a young woman. I would say, like, Ren read a lot younger than I thought he was. Like, I thought Ren was like 14 or 15. He's like 19 or 20. So he's in that age range of, he's a grown adult, but he's still relatively young, very brash, very hot-headed, very impulsive. And he meets Haim. And I just loved Haim's character. She was very different to Ren, who is just kind of... Ren is, like, very goal-oriented. He's like, I'm going to do the job. I'm going to get clear. I'm going to, like, make sure that you pay for, you know, wronging me and stuff like that. Ren, like, is, like, all over the place, while Haim is very cool and collected. And we see this kind of slow romance possibly kind of burgeon between the two, and we get to kind of explore that. Now, this is book 1 of, I believe, a trilogy, or at least we're going to say series. I know book 2 is in the works, and the way this book ends is on a little bit of a cliffhanger, kind of leading into book 2, and I'm very excited for that. But overall, guys, like, I highly, highly recommend you check out Blood of Crows. It's got very fast pacing. It's got very strong characterization, whether it's Martin, Ren, Haim, a inventor by the name of Holly on the page. We get to meet some Inquisitors. We get to meet some Royal Guards. We get to meet a Monarch. All of these characters are distinct in their voice and very well realized. It's a very enjoyable read. At no point was I just like, man, I wish this book would just kind of get to the point, because trust me, it's got limited page count to work with for a fantasy novel. I think we're coming in under 350 pages, and it just moves. But it's not breakneck. Like, it does take time to, like, let you sit with a consequence or let you sit with an emotional moment. And it's fantastic. Overall, like, I give this book like a 4.5 out of 5. Just because there were a couple moments where I would think about something. I was like, well, how does that connect to this? And does this mean that this has happened? And this, and then, like, it would go on later and explain it. But I would spend that time kind of confused. But I also think that that's a good thing, because I'm sitting there spending my mental energy trying to figure out the story, because there is a mystery overall, because he's trying to catch a mysterious serial killer who is just so brutal. And I will say this, I did not see the twist coming, despite the fact that I feel like I should have. I did not see it coming. It did catch me off guard, and I did very much enjoy that. Guys, great characterization, great pacing, great realization of ideas. This feels fresh. It feels inventive. This never once felt like a book where I was like, oh, I've seen that before. Like, maybe in the Gentleman Bastard series, but not really, because Ren isn't quite as big a scoundrel as Locke and Jean are. So, this felt like something new to me, and it felt so incredibly good. I highly, highly recommend you check this one out. It was such a good read, which I feel like I've said 6 to 7 times already. It is a walled city, although it doesn't really feel like a walled city. I feel like that might be something that gets explored later in this series, because it does mention it on the back of the book that it's the walled realm of Lenmar, which it's just like, okay, so it's like a walled city with, like, tiers. You've got the peasants down here. You got the nobility up in the spire and stuff like that. Very cool stuff. Overall, guys, please do yourself a favor. Check out The Blood of Crows by Alex C. Peirce. It promises to be a very good time. Other than that, guys, I feel like I'm just going to ramble on for a while. I mean, if I'm going to ramble about anything, let me tell you about, like, the darkness scale. I guess I could do that. And essentially, this book does have a lot of dark moments, because, like, Ren is just constantly being, like, sucker punched and gut punched. And he's kind of just bouncing from one terrible thing to the next, just trying to survive. But it's also got a lot of humor to balance that out, so I feel like it falls right in the middle. It's bleak, but it's funny. It's, got high notes. It's got low notes. It's very well balanced, and I just, overall, like, I've got really nothing but good things to say about this series, and I really think you should check it out. That's all I really got for you today, guys. Anything else I'm going to say is just a repeat of what I've already said. Please do yourself a favor. Check this one out. I'll have it linked in the description box down below. And that's all I've got for you. Till next time, guys. Peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.